A lot of people like to throw around the phrase that money is the root of all evil, but I don't believe so. Money is not the root of all evil. People are evil. Money is just a tool that you can use, right? For example, if you needed to pay your bills, right? You need to buy a house, you want to buy your mom a car, a dream house, whatever case may be. Guess what? You use the tool, which is the money, to actually purchase that thing, which then is making your family happy, or giving your family a shelter in a case that you're purchasing yourself a home, then actually be able to stay in. So in that case, money was just the tool that you use in order to accomplish the thing you're trying to do. But guess what? If you was somebody like Diddy, where you're using money to do evil things like pleasure yourself, like for example, paying people off to do evil things for yourself, or paying people to do things that they would not otherwise do, like for example, doing something inappropriate that I can't talk about on here, and you pay them off, right? So it's just, at that point, you're using that tool for your own selfless benefits and in discomfort of other people's, right? Because of the fact that they want this money so bad, they're willing to do whatever it takes to actually obtain that money. Telling somebody, hey, if you do this thing to this person, I'll give you $500,000. I give you $1 million. At that point, once again, the evil thing that's being done is the action that's being done, but it's being done by the person, right? Who literally told this person, hey, go do this thing and I'll pay you this money, which I use that tool to then pay off that person, if that makes sense, right? So money is not the root of all evil, but if you're misusing money, yes, 100%, it can damage you, it can mess up your mind, and it can be used for evil purposes and do a lot of harmful, hateful things, and can be really, really evil. But there are three key principles, three key things I recommend everybody do before they even try to ever get rich. Because if you don't establish these three core foundations and rules, and just things you need to do in order before you get rich, if you don't establish these things, you will go down a really, really, really bad path in actually obtaining money. Because of the fact that when you are in a path of success trying to get money, sometimes people are willing to do whatever it takes, and that's not necessarily what's always right. And some people, if you don't establish these boundaries, what I'm about to tell you and everything, you're gonna quickly pass that line of just doing whatever it takes in order to get money, which is essentially what happened to a guy like Diddy, who didn't establish the things I'm about to talk about, and that's why they was able to go down the wrong path, right? These key principles that I'm about to talk about, I established them for myself before I even strive for getting money and successful, because of the fact that I never wanted to lose myself. I'm like, yo, if I become successful and I lose the core foundation of who I am as a human being, and I start doing certain things at any cost just to obtain the money, I'm going to lose myself slowly but surely. It's going to be that one smaller thing. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I'll do this. And then next, you're slapping baby oil on people. You know what I'm saying? You're infusing drugs with baby oil. You know what I'm saying? So I never wanted to get in the path of forgetting who I am at the core of who I really am. And I established these foundations on what I'm about to talk about in order to never lose myself. All right, so let's get into it. The first thing you need to establish is boundaries. That's the first and foremost. Establishing boundaries that you will never cross no matter what. Like, for example, I would never scam in order to obtain money. I would never do somebody dirty in order to get money. I would never sell drugs in order to get money. So establish these things, because yes, once again, if your end goal is just to get rich and you're like, I'm willing to do whatever, guess what? Scamming is doing whatever, right? I didn't establish that boundary. I'll never do anything illegal in order to get money, right? It may seem very, very small, but you have to make yourself the promise and stick to your promise that you made yourself, right? I would never do OF. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all those things that's not ethically correct in your mind, establish those things, write it on paper. I would never do this. And remind yourself constantly, consistently of what you would never do. Those boundaries, I would never cross this line. And when that time comes, because you have all these things established, you would never cross that. Like, I would never betray somebody to get more money, right? I will never do something that is taking advantage of other people in order to make more money. Right? Like, prime example, years ago, I'll give you a story. Years ago, I was making I had hit my first $50,000 month, right? I made $50,000 in a single month profit. I was like 22, I believe. Yeah, 22. I'm like, I just made $50,000. I just bought myself a car. The car I'm driving right now, when I got myself a car, everything of that sort. And what's it called? And then, I was presented an opportunity to make more money, which I then was started doing, right? Working with somebody else. I was working with a person, which is like just selling, essentially like, hey, you can just start selling courses and stuff like that to make more money. And I was like, and the guy who was showing me, essentially, he was making $300K a month at the time, and he was my same age. He was 22 as well, making $300K a month. And what he was doing was selling courses, mentorships, and stuff like that. And that right there is not the wrong thing. Everybody have their own opinions on course selling, whatever the case may be. If that's that boundary for you, just of course, set that, or whatever the case may be. But I do know that courses and mentorship is all education. People always want to get to where you are. So I'm making $50K a month. Somebody want to get to making $50K a month. Guess what? I can teach somebody how to do that on the path that I took in order to get there. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? What's wrong with course selling would be if you're sending or selling misinformation that you know nothing about, of course, whatever the case may be, and or something you've never done. Right, so he was, showing me, okay, I'm seeing his payment processor like $300K, $400K in a month. I think even $500K in a month at the time, and I'm just looking, right. But then I come to find out, one of the boundaries is I would never work with people who are, known for doing other people wrong and stuff like that, scamming or associated with those things. And then come to find out this individual particularly was known for that, right? Not saying that he was doing that at that particular time, but I'm like, when I found that out, I had to cut ties with the person and, stop all further communication with that person, right? It was like, he was a really cool guy, what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, he was a really cool guy and everything of that sort. But when I found that out, I'm like, I can't. This is one of those boundaries I set for myself. I can't, because guess what? This is the type of person who's willing to do even, any little thing in order to get that money, that I don't want to start adapting. I don't want to start, because I'll be spending a lot of time with this person. I don't want to start soaking some of that in there subconsciously, and I don't even know, because the most powerful thing that you don't know that runs your daily life every single day is your subconscious mind. So if I'm literally passing the limits of my subconscious, I'm feeding certain things in my subconscious mind, like surround myself with that type of energy, guess what? It's going to subconsciously go in my mind. And I never, ever, ever want to lose myself ever, because people will lose yourself with money. When you have that much, when you have money, you can do anything. It's like, we're human at the end of the day. People lose themselves, right? So you have to establish your ethics and morals, because guess what? I already established, hey, I'm never going to do this. And then guess what? When that time came, I had to disassociate myself. Even though I knew that, hey, if I partner with this person, yes, I could easily get to 100K a month. I could easily get to 300K a month, like as soon as possible, which was the intent. But when I found that out, I couldn't. I had to, even though it was going to hold me back in order to achieve what I was trying to achieve faster. I'm not going to sacrifice my ethics and morals for faster results, if that makes sense, right? So I decided to just cut off ties right then and there, because I did not want to go past that limitation that I set for myself, right? So that was the first thing. The second thing is breaking the trust of your friends and business partners, right? Breaking the trust of your friends and business partners, right? That is the second thing you need to establish, right? Once again, there comes a time where you may be doing this business with your friends, business partners, whatever the case may be, and it can quickly get to the point where, say for example, like you literally have a business partner, you guys are having a bunch of money that's coming all in one account, and you start secretly taking some of those funds out, right? Or like you're not being transparent with as much money that's coming in, right? So it may be something super small once again, but a lot of people literally do this in business. I've seen this so many times over and over and over, right? So that's like literally breaking the trust of others that you trust, right? Others that trust you as well too. Like that is really going towards that boundary. Like it's like, yo, like I told myself I would never break that trust, because I want to trust somebody just as much as they trust me. I want them to trust me as much as I trust them, right? So say for example, I'm doing business with somebody, right? And I know somebody who's done this, and I've told them over and over again, is kind of going toward like, hey, don't do this thing, it's not good. But I'll give you guys another example essentially, right? Say for example, I'm working with somebody and we're making money together, and then for whatever reason, God forbid, knock on wood, let's say expenses, everything gets high, I'm low on funds, and I start secretly pulling some of that money. I'm like, oh, this is going towards this expense, and I start pulling money or extra money just for myself, right? Now, yes, when there's a lot of money coming in, you're working with a business partner, whatever the case may be, you see that, And once again, that greed comes in, right? The greed comes in. You just, oh, I can just take all this. I can just, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing more work. Oh, this person's not working hard enough. So I'm just gonna take the money. That is so wrong. I find that so freaking wrong. Because at the end of the day, if you have established boundaries 50%, you have trust with this person, and like, hey, this person know you're gonna take this percentage out, and you're secretly taking out more, telling them it's going towards this, and then not communicate with that person, or going ghost, pulling some of that money, knowing you owe this person money. Like, that right there was also a boundary that I set for myself that I would never cross. I'm not going to betray the trust of somebody that I care about, friends, family, business partner. I'm not going to betray that trust just for a little bit more money. Or say, for example, a business opportunity comes in, right? They're like, oh, we really want to work with you, but your business partner, or we want to work with your company, and then you don't tell your business partner, you take some of that money, you don't tell the business partner, like, or you tell them a smaller amount because you got the money, right? It's like literally little things like that you cannot break. So breaking the trust of your friends and family, your business partners, that is a no. If you're like, be as transparent as possible, because when you get to start lying, because if you don't want it to be done to you, why are you doing it to somebody else? Simple as that. If you don't want it to be done to you, do not do it to somebody else, because that stuff is really, really evil, and that's karma. Karma's gonna come back tenfold. And once again, that's one of those things of, like, you're just letting this, this is a small thing, but you don't know. It's messing up your subconscious mind. It's not just gonna be a one-time thing. That's how you're always gonna operate your businesses, and that's gonna stab you in the back long term, right? And that's gonna make you, even if it never stab you in the back right now, or let's say long term, that's also one of those things that's having you lose your ethics or your morals, right? So set that boundary. Never ever betray the trust of your business partners. I'm not sure if that's exactly what I said in the beginning, but yeah, never ever betray the trust of your business partners and your friends, family, if you're doing business with them, all those things, right? Because that's just one of those things. It's just once again just gonna slowly deteriorate your ethics and morals, and you're just gonna start going off those boundaries, right? So that's boundary number 2. Never cross those things, because that just, once again, just gonna help you. It's gonna make you lose your ethics and your morals, and start doing these small little things that just gonna make your character tainted and not really be a good person, and make you lose yourself, and make you just a really corrupt person. Like, for example, what Diddy was doing, using this as an example as well too. When I was watching, I'm only like a couple episodes into the documentation, everything of that sort, but essentially, what he was doing was, as the business was expanding, he told his friend, oh, I'm trying to close this other deal with this company, so let me just, let's write you out of the equity deal, essentially, right? Like, let's take some of your stocks away in this business. I need to give it to this company so I can work this deal out, but you're gonna get it right back. And then guess what? The person never received the stocks again in the business, right? The 25% equity they had in the business, which is the business partner he literally started the business with. But because of the fact that he knew he could have more money if he just signed a contract back over to himself, he could literally do that, right? Literally something of that sort. Another thing, one of his friend, passed away. When his friend passed away, he did a crazy, from what I've seen from documentary, allegedly, he did a crazy burial, right, in the public. Everybody, like, he spent over $1 million, but what he did was he took the money out of the person's account after they already passed away. They was deceased. He took the money out of that account and then lied to the family, and then made the numbers look essentially like it came from his, and they never knew, right? And then also had his friend change the contracts and everything of that sort. But once again, it started as small as, literally, it didn't start all the way there. It started as small as him changing the contract terms with his friends. And now guess what? He changed the contract term of another friend who passed away, and then illegally funneling some of that money back to himself, making himself look even bigger, right? Once again, not having those boundaries established. All right, now the third thing that you want to make sure you're established before you pursue the path of money and success, right? And once again, if you don't know, this is all coming from a 24-year-old entrepreneur who makes over 6 figures a month, right? So I established all of these prior to actually getting to this path of where I am right now, getting to this final destination, not even a final destination, but where I am currently in life, and I'm trying to increase to 7 figures a month, right? But the next thing is establishing what success means to you beyond money. What I mean by that is, For example, if you was to gain success, what does that mean to you, right? Does it mean you're the type of person who is helping out their family? Are you the type of person who are giving back to the homeless all the time? Because if you can establish these things, what success means to you beyond just money, is it you're the kind of person who just, okay, being a little more selfish? That means you have literally location freedom and time freedom. So it's not just about just having financial freedom. It's also about the fact that you're gonna have the time to do whatever you want, the time to spend more time with your family, right? The time to be able to travel more, all those things. You can establish all these small little things. Establish what success means to you beyond just money is going to help you really understand that it's not just about getting more and more money. Because guess what? If I'm trying to be successful so I can do all these things, start foundation for the homeless, start foundation for foster kids, whatever case may be, when I get to that point, I already have these established. I already have them in my mind. Once again, I already set them, like, it's already in my mind, like, I want success for this reason. So now you're not just going to parties, drinking, smoking because that's what is there now. Because, like, it's scary because, yes, like, success, having a lot of money is great. It feels good. It's going to help you tremendously. If your family need helps, the hospital bills, you have to go to the doctor, you can take care of all these things. It's great. I don't want you to be scared of money. But I want you to establish these things because you can lose yourself with money. That's how people are doing things like, just to get that little extra, that little extra kick from being successful, just taking control of other people, right? So if you establish all these boundaries, all these things prior to gaining success, and just stick by these ideologies, these ethics, these morals, and this your moral compass, you're never going to go beyond that, right? So if you establish what success means to you beyond just the money, and you're accomplishing, you're sticking to these things, you're doing these things, you're never going to lose yourself. You can always reflect back on it. And especially if you write it down, I highly recommend you writing this down, because not only is it going to help you be successful so you can't get to that point because you're writing it down, because writing things down is one of the most powerful forms of manifestation, writing it down. Other than, of course, the act of actually doing the thing in order to accomplish that outcome, right? But writing it down to also help you manifest it even more, even further, right? So make sure you're writing it down exactly what success means to you, what you have, beyond just the financial freedom. We're talking the location freedom and time freedom, of course, the fact that you can build foster cares, the fact that you can take care of your mom, the fact that you can take care of your friends, family, all these things. Write those down and really understand what success means to you beyond just the money. Because once again, money is just the tools. Is what you get with that tool, what you do with that tool, that helps you shape you to become a better person and do more good in this world. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch y'all on the next one. And check out this video right here if you want to learn exactly how to manifest your dream life.